Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specialising in all things cruise, Disney, and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I write cruise content over at Cruising with Kids, and we have an MSN newsfeed that is also full of cruise tips and videos.
Brilliant. And today, Sarah, so we're kind of in the countdown to your transatlantic cruise with Royal Caribbean. And you're obviously at that crucial point where you're looking ahead and thinking about all the kind of pre-cruise extras you can add on there. And I know we kind of chat about it on and off all the time about Royal Caribbean, especially about kind of like, what do you add? What don't you add? When's the best time to add it? So what we thought we'd do today, because you are the expert in Royal Caribbean, you've sailed with them considerably more than I have, but we thought we'd have a bit of a general conversation about kind of pre-cruise extras, but specifically for Royal Caribbean.
Yes, but before we do that, can we just congratulate you on your award, because it's amazing. So I don't know if you want to tell everybody a bit about it.
Yeah, so I was quite shocked by this one. I knew the awards were happening, but yeah, I was recently on the Virgin Voyages celebration voyage, which for those people who don't know, some cruise lines do things like the presidential voyage or they do their celebration voyage. So they kind of have a cruise a year where they get the senior management on board and celebrate all things that cruise line. So I was lucky to be on the Virgin Voyages one, just purely by chance. I had customers who booked to come with us. And I was invited to an awards ceremony on board and found out that I was awarded, and I'll get it if you're on the video version, it's glass, so it probably won't work. But I was awarded the Virgin Voyages First Mate Awards First Mate Champion, which is an award they basically decided to give for sales performance. But because we are an independent small boutique agency, we're never going to compete with like the larger, bigger online companies. So they've kind of created one for kind of smaller independent home workers like us. So me and another girl from another agency were both awarded it. But specifically, they awarded it as well because they like how passionate I am about Virgin Voyages and for the way that I kind of bring the Virgin Voyages brand to life through my kind of content, YouTube content, the podcasts we've done. So this is partly down to you as well for the podcast episodes we've done. They just really wanted to recognize the hard work I put in the last 12 months, just sharing Virgin Voyages with everyone. And they, gave me an award that I didn't know I was up for.
That's amazing. But what I will add to that, though, is that I wouldn't see you as a small independent home worker. I'd see you as a boutique cruise agent, because the difference from booking with a big agency is that you don't get the personal service. I know if anything goes wrong when I'm away, that I can just let you sort it out and I can go and have a glass of wine. And I quite like that, where a big agency, you're on your own. So I think that's a big deal, isn't it? Some people want that service. I 100%. Certainly do.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I'm really humbled by Virgin, the fact they recognise that in the industry. Not a lot of the cruise companies do. They don't recognise, as you say, the boutiques, the smaller agencies. They're purely chasing the larger companies. So it is lovely to be recognised by Virgin Voyages for kind of, the work we do as a smaller business. And to have that platform they give out, like, we're at the same award ceremonies as Igloo, Paramount Cruises, these massive multi-billion companies. And they recognising us on the same stage. So very, very humbled to have that award. And like I say, it was a shock because I was in bed 5 minutes before the award ceremony was due to start. So double shock for me.
And if I'm booking a cruise with an independent boutique agent, I want somebody that's recognised by the industry. So I think that's great that you have been. So anyway, on to Royal and pre-booking packages. And go on, you're going to have to start me off here because there's just so much to think about, isn't there?
And, it's ridiculous. I'm going to show about this.
I actually have a planner. If anybody, actually, it's really cool. It's called Good Notes, and it's what university students use. So I've uploaded the Cruising with Kids planner to it. And then what I do is every day I research cruise ports, I put the cruise ports in, but you can upload all your tickets to it. You can upload all your, like lounge passes, fast passes for the flights. And I'll upload it all to Good Notes, and then I can just click on them, and they're all in one app on my phone and on my iPad.
Yeah.
And I literally have filed that everything's on there, but there's so much to think about when you're booking a cruise of all the pre-book stuff, and you don't need to have all the extras, but do you want them? And if you do, what you're having.
This is the thing. So when you generally book a Royal cruise, and every cruise line has different kind of pipelines for how you book things, but Royal, typically, you generally with an agent or on the website, just book the cruise. The only extra we can add on for you in most situations is going to be whether you want to prepay gratuities or not. You always should prepay or at least pay your gratuities. That's my little soapbox moment. But everything else is pretty much offloaded to Royal. Royal then do all of the kind of pre-cruise booking system, basically. So things like the drinks packages. And I didn't realize how many other packages there are as well with Royal. So things like your Wi-Fi packages, something called the Key, which we can briefly touch upon if we can find the details on it in the planner. And also, and it's something that I didn't know about until you mentioned it, but it's the dining package as well. So there's all these little extras you can have to enhance your cruise, which I think is cool because it's a great way to tailor make your cruise to how you want to do it. If you're somebody who really wants to go on a foodie cruise, you can kind of upgrade your cruise to have that experience. Or, you know, if you're very hands off, you just want the cruise only, and then you're willing to pay as you go, you can totally do that as well. So it's great that whether you want that more all-inclusive premium experience or whether you're just happy to rock it and go with the flow type of thing, you have that option as well. But do you want to explain to people a little bit then, Sarah, as well, I guess, of once, say, you've booked your cruise and you log into either the Royal app or the Royal website, generally, how would the booking flow work, or what can you generally see on that?
So you've got different tabs, and it's really easy. I love, out of all the apps, the Royal app is my favourite. It's just so easy to
Yeah.
navigate. So you've got your food, you've got your drinks, and you've got activities. Now, the one thing I will say is you don't need to book anything extra. So I've never had a problem with dining on Royal Caribbean. The food has always been brilliant.
Yeah.
Say on
Yeah.
Odyssey, a bigger ship, so it's busier, but you know you've still got the same waiter every night, but they work a lot harder, I would say, personally. So we did do more speciality dining on that. But then on Mariner, because we'd started to do the speciality dining, we knew we wanted to do a few anyway on that cruise. But you've got a choice. You
Yeah.
can just go to the restaurant every night, and you can go to the Windjammer buffet, which in no world am I going to ever go to a buffet at night. It's just not my thing. I'll go in your lunchtime and get a salad and or burger some days or whatever. And it's brilliant. The food's brilliant, but I don't want to go and serve my own dinner when I'm on holiday. So
Yeah.
but so you don't have to pay for dinner. There's loads of places where you can eat. It's totally choice. But if you do want to, you've got, well, it's just growing all the time. You've got a huge choice of restaurants on board that you can book packages for. So for our next cruise, so this is a 14-night cruise, and this is my dilemma because obviously we're staying in a suite and we've got the coastal kitchen. Now, this is my first time
Yeah.
of staying in a suite, and Donna has told me you will not need to do specialty dining. But in my
Really?
mind, it's like, well, I love it. I don't know it's 14 nights in the same
Experience, isn't
restaurant.
it?
Yeah. But for a 2-week cruise, the unlimited dining package, it's actually really good. It's $502 a person. No, pound, sorry.
Really?
Then you've got a 5-night, which at the moment I'm really tempted. It's 197.
So is that you can dine speciality for 5 of the
5
nights, then, is it?
Yeah.
No, okay.
So they're
Which
really,
I guess
really
would
good.
give you a chance to dining each of the specialities at least once then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Now, I suppose the thing is, for anybody that's familiar with Royal, we love playmakers. Have you been on a roll with the playmakers?
I have been on Royal, but I haven't yet had a chance to dine in Playmakers because, well, I've only done a 2-night preview cruise and then we cancelled the 2 others we were booked on for work reasons. So I haven't had a chance to, but those wings in Playmakers look incredible.
Oh, God. And even, I mean, I'm not celiac, I'm just gluten-free, so it just makes me a bit ill. I have to take some tablets. And I do have the pulled pork burger and take tablets because it's amazing. And I never, ever, you know how strict I am with it, but for the Playmaker pulled pork, I will. It's just amazing. But I mean, Chris has already planned the nights we're eating in Playmakers because he's football
Really?
mad. And he's looked at
I
the
was going to
Burnley
say he's planning
matches.
around the sport.
Yeah, so he's I was like, they've gone down to Championship. They're probably not even going to play him. He said they will because they're owned by Americans. They will. So yeah, well, he's already planned what nights we're eating in Playmakers. Just around the Burnley matches. But then you're not talking a lot of money to eat in Playmakers. So
Yeah.
is it worth a dining credit? Probably not.
Yeah, because you can book a la carte, can't you? So you can just go in and just order the wings if you wanted to, or just order a burger. It's not a prefix menu style thing, is it? Where you go in and you have like your first, second main. It's just pick what you want. But it's like bar style food, isn't it? It's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, and it's not expensive. It's like Johnny Rocket's prices, so you don't spend a lot. And I just love it. I love the whole atmosphere of it's just a sports bar, but it's American style, so it's not like going in an Irish bar in Spain. It's just brilliant, and the atmosphere is great. And you've got games on the table, so you can play Jenga or all sorts. There's all sorts going on. There's a pool table, and so I know that we will do that. Should we look at the restaurants and what sort of restaurants are available?
Yeah, because I've dined in Chops Grill, the steakhouse, when I was on Wonder of the Seas and had a delightful meal. I was very full by the time we got there just because I'd eaten my way around the ship
Mm,
before we get there, which is a
big
classic
mistake.
Kieran problem. I do dine my way before we get to dining, and then I get to my main meal and complain that I'm full. But had a lovely meal to everything, and it's really nice that it's off
Mm,
Central Park on the Oasis class ships as well. So you've got kind of that nice little
mm.
garden area to walk through before and after. So that's really lovely. And so I can vouch for Chops anyway. Chops is incredible. I had a really lovely meal there.
I love it. So for anybody that's it, Chops is a steak restaurant, and it's a 3-course meal, is it, or 4?
I think it's like four. It's definitely a full, hearty meal anyway, put it that way. You won't
And it,
struggle.
I think it was filet mignon when I was on. It was like it's a really good cut of steak. It was cooked
Yeah,
perfectly. When we went, the service wasn't that great. Actually, the girl was really busy. I think they'd overbooked the restaurant, but the food is amazing.
yeah,
Um, but then you've got I mean the choice is endless. So then you've got Giovanni's Table, which is an Italian. Some have got Jamie's Kitchen instead, and
yeah.
they're just hearty Italian food. You've got Azumi. So Azumi, you've got loads of different ones because you've got Azumi where you can go in and have your sushi, but then you've also got the hibachi.
Yep.
And have you done
Yes.
hibachi?
Never.
Oh
No, I
my god,
know.
it's
It's such an
amazing.
American thing. It's something you don't come across very often in the UK, but you go to America or the American cruise lines and they're quite popular on them.
Yeah, when I used to work in the West End, there was one on the street because I used to work on Sackville Street, and there was one on Sackville Street, Benny Hanna's, and that was amazing. But yeah, and that's just, I mean, that's more. I'm looking at my plan. I mean, at the moment, it's not more expensive, but sometimes it is. But it's just an experience in itself because you're all sat around a table, and
Yeah.
it's just like it's like a show as well. So you've got 150 Central Park, which is a la carte, and let's have a look. You've got there's not as much on here actually. That's it for Oasis.
You got this Solarium Bistro's also coming up, but I'm not sure if that's a fee or whether you could just pop in there. I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
think that's
There's
always
no
included.
charge when I'm looking.
It's always included the solarium.
The morning.
But then you've got the mason jar, you've got Johnny Rockets. So there's loads and loads of choice, but all of these are extras. But I suppose what you've got to do is think, do I want to do something extra and
Yeah.
plan for that? But then if it's something you particularly want to do, then I'd book it and get it booked on your app before. But an interesting thing is that we were talking before we came on air, is that because we're going out of Spain, I really need to make a decision before I go because when you book anything on a
Yeah.
ship and you're going out of a Spanish cruise port, you pay Spanish port tax, which I think is it 20%.
I think it's like 10, 50. It's not a massive amount, but it adds up quite quickly. Spanish port tax. I remember on Virgin, it annoys me, but 21%? No, you're right. I didn't realize it was that much. I was clearly just swiping my band, like, give me a drink. But yeah, 21%.
Yeah,
Wow.
I knew it was quite a lot. So if you're booking, I don't know, a £50 meal, then that all adds up, doesn't it? You're better off booking it before. So anybody that's coming from the States, that's really important to be aware of. If you're going out of any Spanish
Yeah.
ports, anything you buy, anything you think you might buy on board that's available in your app, do it before, whether it's Wi-Fi,
Yes.
dining. Donna once went
Yeah.
Donna once went out of Barcelona, and this is years ago, but when we were very early in the blog days, so it's probably about 8 years ago. And she rang me from Barcelona and was like, because she just thought, oh, they were busy, I'll get the drinks package when I get on. Well, 20% on the drinks package is a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
But obviously they couldn't back down because
Well,
they said, well, it's not us, it's the port tax.
and that's the thing, they legally are their banned by it. Now, you can claim that back. I've never tried to, but you can. I just don't know how you do it. There's an online form you can go to fill in, and you can claim back as a British citizen now. Anyway, you can. I'm pretty sure Americans can as well. There's websites with guides on how to do this, basically, but you can claim back the taxes because obviously now we've left the EU. It's a different system, so it is possible.
Oh, yeah,
I know
so
it
we'll
happens a
get
lot
it
with
back.
like this. You can claim it back,
Yeah.
but obviously you've got to pay it up front and then claim it back. Sometimes the ships facilitate it as well. So sometimes the ship will have a desk you can go to and they will guide you through the form. I know Virgin especially have it on there. It's just one of them of adding up the maths on how much you're spending. Obviously, if you're making a big purchase, like you're buying jewelry or one of the drinks packages on board the ship, then probably the taxes are going to be worth it. I think like the break-even point, not that there's a fee for it, but like the hassle to time ratio. But I know people who've gone on like Virgin, for example, and bought loads of stuff in the shop. They've done it and they've claimed back a good like €100 back type of thing off the taxes. So you can claim it back as a British and American citizen. I've just never personally done it because I'm very much one of those, I do enough admin in life. I'll walk away from $20, $30 if it means I don't have to do any extra admin. But the other thing as well to point out as well is if you do book them before you get on the ship, there is also an additional saving as well. So not only are you bypassing the whole Spanish tax
Mm.
situation, you're also potentially saving 10, 20% as well. So in the case of like the unlimited dining package, it is 20% cheaper if you book it before you get on the voyage. Rather than when you're on board, it's going to be an extra 20% and then the sales tax on top of that as well. So you could make a big, big saving by just committing to it up front. And I know it's tough because you're not going to know until you get on board whether you're going to want
Mm.
to do that dine-in. But as you say, there are other options as well. I've just spotted now there's a 3-night dining package as well as a 5
Mm.
and the unlimited. So there are other options if maybe you kind of go, there'll be a couple of nights we want to treat ourselves, but we don't want to push the boat out too much. Then you could totally do that as well.
Do you know what? The 3 is sold out on our cruise. Oh no, they've
But
put
there's
it back.
6. No, there's 6 left. Yeah, this
Oh,
I've
they've put
literally
it
I'm in
back.
there now.
Oh my god, I'm going to book that.
Stop the episode. Sarah's booking
Stop.
dining.
That had sold out last week. So I said to Chris, I'd do the 3. I don't know
Really?
if I want 5. I'm going to book that in a minute. But yeah, honestly, God, I've been gutted about it.
But this is a key point as well, especially with Royal, because Royal's pre-bookable things change all the time as well, and it changes by voyage. So I'm currently logged in I now know how to do as an agent. I can log in and check the cruise planner for every voyage. But every voyage will be different. They will have different things available. It depends on the duration, the length of the voyage, but also as well, the prices will change, the discount will change as well. So there'll be different promos for different ships or different regions as well. What we get in the UK may be different from what American residents will get. So annoyingly, you do have to keep an eye on the app and you do have to kind of keep checking to see what's available and
Yeah,
if the
it
price
does
has gone on.
change. But looking at
Typically, Royal
this,
will email you. We brought this up before. Like I was getting emails left, right, and center, and
don't
you
email
weren't.
me.
Not sure
Stop.
why. So you just do need to keep an eye on it, basically. But you can, correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, but you can pretty much cancel it if you find a better price and just rebook it again.
Yeah. Yeah, you can with Royal. They're really good at that. I mean, it takes you a while to get it back, but you can do that. But I'm just looking at this. So this is £118 for a 3-night package. But when you look at it, what you've got to do is use it for the bigger things. So, or you can pay extra for like stuff like Chef's Table. So actually, Chef's Table you pay $25 extra for. That's really good. But you can do so for £180 you can choose 3. So you've got Chops Grill, Giovanni's, and Central Park. So if you book all of them, that's £150. So you're actually saving 30
Crazy,
quid.
isn't it?
So it is a
Yeah.
good saving.
And then,
But
as you just said, then as well, it's just a surcharge then as well, isn't it? So if you wanted to do, say, Royal Railway, which is on Utopia of the Seas now, the new dining experience, that's a $50 surcharge as well. Then on top of this, so still great savings.
yeah, but you've got to check that actually. So on this sailing, surcharges are teppanyaki is 15. That's really good. But we've done that. Wonderland 25.
I don't know why they mentioned Royal Railway because it's not on this ship, but maybe it's just a standard across the
Do
fleet
you think?
type of thing.
Do you think they're putting it on?
Oh, they're doing what's the word? An
Dry
amplification?
dock.
Is that the word?
Well, they're only doing the dry
Um,
dock, but it hasn't got.
there's definitely amplifications happening, but I don't know if they're.
It's in for 3 weeks.
She's definitely getting amplified, but I'm not sure how much she's getting amplified.
Well, it just says dry dock. So dry dock's usually just like a clean up, and it's usually more mechanical. But
Yes.
I wonder why they've got that there.
Do you think they're going to add it on? But I've heard rumours they want to add it on. Is it? Now, this is just us talking because we haven't checked any of this before we come on. But isn't Allure of the Seas going in for a bigger dry dock because she's older?
April.
Pretty sure she's going in for next year's season. So those people who want to get on the amplified Allure of the Seas, she is getting new stuff. But have they announced she's getting the Royal Railway? I can't remember.
No, they haven't. She's getting a pesky parrot. Playmakers.
That's the one. Pesky Parrot. She's getting. I didn't realize she didn't have it, but the Ultimate Abyss as well. She's getting the Ultimate Abyss finally.
Well, this didn't. When Oasis was amplified, but it's quite a few years ago, that didn't have the Ultimate Abyss.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you what? Allure, I've got it here because I've just done a post on it.
If you've got it.
So it's getting the Perfect Storm, a new Splash Away Bay, lime and coconut because. A Loco Fresh, which, oh my God, I love a Loco Fresh. Pesky Parrot, Playmakers, Ultimate Abyss. It's getting the Escape Room, the Apollo 18, which Oasis has got. And then it's doing up the kids' clubs and it's putting on the
new suites above the
new
bridge.
suite without the windows, without the doors, at the balcony.
That's the lure, though, isn't it? That's not
Yeah, that's
Oasis.
not
That's a
Oasis, that's
lure.
Allure. Because Oasis has all
Yeah.
got all that already. But it hasn't got the railway that it's mentioning in the dining package, unless that's just a
No.
standard
I wonder if it is just a standard
standard
copy and
thing.
paste along.
Me getting really giddy. Can you imagine? Oh my God. It's on. I will be paying that upgrade if it is.
It's one I definitely want to do. Definitely, it looks really cool.
Mm.
Like I said, my plans for next year, the what are you looking forward to episode we did last Christmas could be an interesting one because next year my plans are all over the shop. I want to go on Disney, I want to go on Royal, I want to go on Celebrity. I've booked none of them, and I'm leaving them all to last minute this year rather than booking ahead and cancelling
Oh,
left, right, and centre. But I've got like big green eyes of all the cruise ships next year. Virgin have got some fantastic New
mm,
England coast sailings as well from New York, like some incredible voyages out there. My bank account and my time off just isn't big enough.
I
Like,
know. That's the problem. I mean, I think everybody probably listening, it's like a bit of an addiction. Like Chris is just stop looking at cruises. Yeah, but that's how I found the celebrity one, that real bargain. And that's how I found
yeah,
the transatlantic for next year that I'm now going to book, hopefully.
yep.
But you don't find them, do you, if you don't look?
No, and I don't like, we don't get told everything as well. People think like that we have systems that tell us bargains. We don't. It's all manual. So it's either a customer finds it and tells me. The cruise line may occasionally, but to be honest, the way the cruise lines work, they only really tell us stuff that's not selling very well. The stuff that's selling very well, they keep to themselves. There's a little hidden secret. So we as agents have to go out and find those deals and find those little pockets and bargains. And sometimes it's just spotting another agent in our own like group in the Merlin family. They may say, "Oh, I found this great deal. You may want to jump on it." It is all very manual. I wish the system told me every day, like, "Hey, Kieran, guess what? This is a bargain of a cruise. You may want to jump on it." It is just times for every day I log into a different platform. So sometimes the Virgin one, and I'll just go through the different voyages to see, oh, that's got a really good price. Like I made a number of bookings because I spotted one of the repositioning sailings had a lower price by almost 50% than the others. So I just pushed that one for a week because I spotted it. That is the magic of being a travel agent. You have to put the time in to get all these things.
Well, look at this cruise that we're currently going on a couple of weeks. That was a mega bargain, and that was just stumbled across it. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
When we chatting on the podcast one time, and wasn't it quite literally one of those like heat of the moment? We were chatting just as we launched the podcast, and we were like, "I wonder, let's have a look at the system." We were like, "How much? Quick, just book it."
We're actually really bad for each other, aren't we?
I know.
Bad influence. Yeah, we'll never make money this podcast because we spend more than we could ever make.
No, quite literally, yeah.
So extras. So I suppose we did a whole episode, didn't we, the other week about the drinks package and is it worth the extra? And so you've got your drinks, you've got your dining package, but you don't have to do any of that because there's so many places to get food and drink for free.
Yes.
And I think that's a really important fact that, you know, not everybody wants to go on and spend and elevate their experience because actually cruising is elevated. I've only ever found one land-based resort, which is Icos and Sani, that matches cruise food. A bit everywhere else, I just look and think, let's go on this ship.
It has got a bit out of hand, and I had this problem. This is one of the reasons why we pulled out of the Royal Cruise, was because for us to do it the way we like to do it would have cost a lot more extra to have things like the Wi-Fi and the drinks package. But the reality is, do you actually need any of that stuff? No. The problem we've got is we sail so much, we've got so used to having that stuff that we're almost now a little afraid to cruise without it. So it's one of those things of, are we actually putting that pressure on ourselves because of how we like to cruise? We like to have that all-inclusive atmosphere and that all-inclusive vibe. And I don't want to drink filter coffee. I want to drink gourmet coffee. So my brain starts going, well, if I have 2 gourmet coffees a day, that's going to be $12, $13. That's already $12, $13 a day towards the £75 drinks package. So, you know, that's how my brain works, unfortunately. I'm very much the way the cruise lines are currently marketing. I am their prime target audience at the end of the day because I fall for it and I add all the packages on because I don't want to think about things when I'm on my cruise. I want to just rock up and not have that bill every day racking up. I like to know I'm getting on and paying for things and it's done.
Yeah, that's it. And
other people are different though. I've got a lot of customers who will literally pay the lowest price inside cabin. They won't pre-book anything, but they're very happy to just buy the drinks as they go because they know in the long run they're probably going to be better off because they're just having what they want. But for me, that FOMO of, if I want a soft drink, I don't want to pay $5 for a soft drink. I want to just go and get it.
Do you know, though, a good way to do it is just to get the fizzy package, because if you've got the fizzy package, then, you know, have a bottle of wine when you want one, can't you? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think probably because I always get the drinks package thinking I'm going to have loads of cocktails. And actually, I probably have 2 a day because I think, oh no, that's a lie because I'll have a lavender daiquiri before dinner as well. But I think I'll have a cocktail, I'll have a cocktail, I'll have a cocktail. What would you like? One soda, please. And that's what I do every time because it's so
Yeah.
I probably don't get as much value out of it as I could because if I was if I'm drinking bourbon or drinking cocktails all the time, and Chris drinks
Yep.
cider. So actually, well, we'll see this time. I mean, obviously we've got the Coastal Kitchen at the Sweet Bar, but we'll see this time because we're not going to start there, are we? For 2 weeks, there's all those
Yeah.
amazing bars on the ship that we're going to do. So we'll see what we spend. It will give us a
Yeah.
guide, won't it? And I'll report back on that.
I will just add, me and Phil on Scarlet Night on our last Virgin cruise last week literally spent $280 on Scarlet Night alone. So,
Yeah.
like, drinks packages are in our favour. I think we've not found a drinks package we've not beaten yet. So, but that's a unique thing for me and Phil.
You like cocktails, don't you? And that's the difference.
Yes.
I probably drink
Yes.
more wine, which just doesn't cost as much.
No. Yeah, you can
Where
get a glass of wine for what, like $7, $8 type of thing, whereas the average
yeah,
cocktail's double that, really, isn't it?
where you're right into the espresso martinis and you're ordering them straight away. So
Pretty much on it.
there's the difference. So the Wi-Fi. Let's talk about Wi-Fi because it's a funny one, isn't it? I mean, we've got it this time, and I'm
Yeah.
glad we've got it, and it'll make a big difference. But well, I always get it because I work while I'm away. So what we did on the last cruise, and they say, oh, you're not meant to. You meant so say for one person, you could have a package with 2 devices, but then so say for me and Joe on the last cruise, Chris weren't bothered. He wanted to shut off, and if he wants to read the news, he'll log in when I'm not using mine.
Yeah.
Jack weren't bothered. So Joe, who is at that age where he can't live without TikTok, wanted Wi-Fi. So I was like, right, okay. So you could get me and Joe Wi-Fi one device, but it was cheaper for me to get 2 devices and let Joe log into as one of me. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And they say you're not meant
This
to
thing.
do
So
it,
for us,
but it saves a fortune.
well, this was what broke the camel's back with us because by the time we were adding on Wi-Fi for us, because we have to work, we have to. That's the blessing and the curse of our job. We get to travel a lot more freely, but we are available all day, every day. And at the time, we would have had to have paid for this cruise and paid a deposit. We just didn't have the cash flow to kind of do it and do it the way we wanted to. So Wi-Fi was quite an added extra. Like it's currently, I don't know what this is in USD. It's probably going to be obviously double this probably in USD, but it's about £17.63 per guest per day. So obviously your times in that, so say like we just call it £18, times that by 14. You're looking at £252 for a device. So obviously then me and Phil times 2, that's £500 extra for Wi-Fi.
But
It sounds like a lot.
if you do it as you with 2 devices, it's $379.
Which we didn't cotton on to.
No, it is worth
Which
doing.
probably we should have done.
And the problem is, it's like, when we filmed the podcast, I mean, that is how good the Wi-Fi is. I mean, Donna said she struggled on this last cruise, but on the cruise that I went on, Mariner, we filmed the podcast and it was great. But I just said to Joe, because you can knock each other off because you're both on the same thing. So I just said to Joe, do not touch the Wi-Fi for that hour. And it was fine.
Yeah.
But you just have to log back in. That's all you do. It's not a big drama.
We could have made do. It's one of those things. I'm such a first world problem person. I hate the hassle of logging in, logging out, logging in, logging out. We have done it on other cruises where I've had one device and I've had my tablet when I'm out and about, my phone when I'm out and about, but I need to do some work on the laptop. It just annoys me. So I'm one of those idiots that will pay for 2 devices just to save the hassle. I'm the problem. I know I am. I admit it freely.
So for 120 quid, you don't want to log in and log out. Jesus Christ, Kieran.
Honestly, I'm a nightmare. I do my own head in sometimes. I'm just like, there is a cheaper way to do this, Kieran. I'm like, I will do it the harder way because, not harder, the more expensive way because I like the convenience. I know I'm the problem in this situation.
That is speciality dining.
I know. Look, like I say, my brain works in weird ways, but I just like the knowing if I need to get something done quickly, there's not a barrier to getting it done because the more time that I'm spent doing work, the less time I'm in the bars drinking. So like that's how my brain works.
But yeah, so I mean, it is a big. But then, and I suppose that's the thing. If you look at that, then for the things you get extra in the suite, is it worth the extra when you're getting stuff like you got? Like me and Chris have both got Wi-Fi, so that just makes life so easy.
Yeah.
He will work this cruise because it's a 2-week cruise and he can't walk away for 2 weeks. So we'll both at sea have a couple of days where we spend the morning working.
And that's the nature of our jobs. Like you can work from anywhere. I can work from everywhere. Like I say, we're both blessed that we can travel a bit more freely than maybe the average person. Just unfortunately, these things become considered choices. Then we can't go on a ship and not have Wi-Fi. We have to kind of have access to stuff to keep in touch with work. The one that caught my eye, and this I've never booked it, and I've heard mixed things from people in various Facebook groups, but it's the key. Have you ever looked at the key with Royal Caribbean, and have you ever added it or thought about adding it?
We've looked at it, and it's actually sold out. I mean, we don't need it again. I keep saying that. Sorry, it's like a diamond member. I sound like, don't I? Much love to diamond members, because I am myself planning my route in and my next cruise to get me to diamond. But it does make me laugh sometimes. But we don't need it this time because we're in suite. But I think Donna was saying yesterday, because they were in the junior suite on their last cruise, and the key people got to get on first.
Yes, yeah. So this is what I keep reading mixed things about it. So when we were booked on this cruise with you, this is what we were thinking of doing, because it does include Wi-Fi as well. So my argument on it was, it's like £18 per person per day for Wi-Fi. The key is £25 per person per day type of thing. Now you do get priority boarding. So I don't know how priority, but it does sound like you are amongst the first to get on board the ship. So that's a nice perk to have. It's not a make or break for me type of thing, but it is nice to be able to just get on when the ship's quiet and not deal with that manic when you get on type of thing. You get carry-on bag drop-off and delivery to stateroom. So it says drop off your carry-on bag to the main dining room, which I sail Virgin a lot, and your cabins are open when you get on the ship. So normally we just go straight to our room, dump our bags off. So it's a lovely feature to have. I forget sometimes that on other cruise ships, your room may not be available until like 3 p.m. type of thing, and you can be on from maybe, if you're lucky, midday. So that is actually not a bad perk to have, the fact that if you've got like your laptop bag or things like that, you can drop that off. You get a welcome lunch in the main dining room. So the day you check in, again, you've got a welcome lunch, which I believe does have drinks. I've seen pictures of people who do have drinks with it, but don't quote me on that. You get 20% off all specialty restaurants throughout the cruise if you make a reservation. It says you have to make a reservation on day one. So I think you must have to plan all your meals straight away. You get one device Wi-Fi. You get access to the fast lane at onboard activities. I'm not sure what that means, but you get access to the fast lane. And you get a private time with a flow rider as well. So again, on the shorter sailings, possibly this could be a great perk because that flow rider is going to be busier. I'm imagining on the 40-night sailing, that's going to be less of a priority. And then it says priority ship-to-shore departures on tender ports of call. So again, if you're in maybe the Greek Isles and you're doing those Mykonos and Santorini ports, that could be a great feature to have. Dedicated seating sections in the Royal Theatre, the Aqua Theatre, Studio B, and 270. So again, if you're like me, like this speaks to me, everything that I'm really bad at planning on a cruise ship, my tender times, my embarkation, I'm so bad at planning them. This solves all those problems for me. I wouldn't have to worry about getting to the theatre really. I could just rock up. And you get an a la carte breakfast on debarkation day.
I think it is really good, isn't it? And a lot of people swear by it. I mean, in our cruise group, loads of people were like, who's got the key? And right, we'll see you. So they're all planning, we're going to be really lucky because Oasis is just coming out of dry dock. The cabins, I think, are going to be ready.
There's no turnaround, is there?
No,
yeah.
So it'll be amazing. So we're actually doing a tour in Barcelona if Donna gets around to booking it. She's going to book it today, she promises me. And we're going to do one of the Gaudi houses. So we're going to do that, go back to our hotels, grab our cases, then we'll be on for lunchtime.
Yeah.
So it should be quite good, actually. I'll tell you what I've got. Oh, my God. So it was my birthday yesterday, wasn't it? I can't reach it. So the boys have got me loads of different things from a new GoPro, and they've got me the chest strap.
Oh, really?
So,
you can do the slides
and the
surfing with it on.
What I'm going to do, I'm not very good at the surfing. I will do it, but I don't think I'll wear the camera because I am not very good. But I'm going to do the zip wire with it on.
Amazing. You're going to become a proper content creator now. I don't know. I think for the content, I would. Like, there's a lot of things I'm willing to do for content. I would think I may have screamed my entire way across doing it.
I said, I do all of that. I'm not scared of stuff, am I? So I said, Donna was like, you can do all that. I said, I'll do this. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do the slide with it on. Donna can video me going in and out. See.
I'm so gutted. Like, I wish I was still coming. We'll have to do another one another time because I wish I was coming.
Yeah. Well, there is one next year that I've just seen.
Sarah's already planning. And you got 20. To be fair, we're already planning our loose plans for 25 and 26 as well. So we're thinking of doing a group cruise with customers to Hong Kong with Royal in 2026. Early stages because it's not on sale yet. But that's currently our very early plans. And then for 2025, it's up in the air at the moment what we're doing. But we're thinking of doing a group cruise as well in Miami if we can pull it off. But we
When are
need
you
to.
thinking of doing the group cruise to Hong Kong?
So it depends on what goes on sale, basically. I'm kind of, it's chicken and egg scenario. I don't want to plan too much, but it'll probably be what we're thinking of doing is doing maybe like a 2-night in Hong Kong and include some sort of city or boat tour. Maybe doing 2 nights in Hong Kong Disney, because that's obviously on the bucket list first as well. And then possibly one of the shorter Royal cruises. So they do like a 5-night, I think it is at the moment, where they go from Hong Kong to Japan. So you do literally touch Japan for the day and then come back. But that's early planning stages of that. But yeah, it's a bit of a chicken and egg until Royal put their itineraries on sale for, it'll be late 2026. So I think they only do them towards like the fall season, basically, so autumn.
Yeah, we want to do August.
But again,
we're doing.
I think this is later than that. I'm pretty sure it's October they do it. But again, I don't want to put it in pen until, but that's the rough itinerary. I just need to find it. If it's not going to be Royal, then we may look at another ship. The risk, like you could do Celebrity, but Celebrity do like 10-night sailings around Hong Kong, China. I think that's too long. I really like the idea of doing it as a multi-center. So you maybe do a Disney, maybe Ocean Park, or if people don't want to do Disney, they can free explore and then join us for the Royal ship as well. So that's what we've been ruminating on at the moment. So you've heard it here first. Phil's sick of hearing me talk about it because I'm going about it every day.
I'm hoping that this year they've done a 7-night in August.
So
I'm hoping.
Is that around Japan specifically, or is that from China to Japan?
It might be China. But my plan was, because I want to do Disney, but they don't, so I'll do it on my own. I don't care. I'll go on my own. Chris may come because he might feel sorry for me, but if the boys can sit in the hotel, they can do what they want, but I'm going to Disney. So that's
determined to make it happen. Like we've had this vision about doing like all 3 Disney Asia parks as one big group tour, but it's just so difficult because they don't always want to work with tour operators. So it's difficult to kind of sell it where you can't guarantee you can get park tickets for things like Tokyo Disney. They just historically are very, very like insular minded. They don't think about international markets. So we could sell it, but then we couldn't guarantee we could get tickets for everybody. So I'm a bit scared to commit to it, but there's lots of ideas floating around, and the business plan for Magical Traveller sees a lot more of that kind of group trip, experiential trips type of thing. So we'll see.
It is exciting, isn't it? I just love planning forward. So yeah, back to Royal Caribbean's extras on board.
Do we want to quickly touch upon some of the others? Obviously, they're the headline stuff, isn't it, really? To do the drinks package, dining package, Wi-Fi. They're going to be the big 3 hitters, I think, that most people want to get. But you can also add on. I didn't realize, I've not looked into any of this stuff, really. But there's loads of stuff you can add on. Like, you know, mini diner. I just spotted now there's a cupcake decorating class you can pre-book. The casitas you can pre-book. You can pre-book the flow rider. Moet and Chandon champagne tasting, pickleball classes.
I'm going to tell you a story. So Chris is going the other day. So we're looking at booking tours. Now, he's not stupid, Chris. He's intelligent. He runs a massive company. But sometimes you only think, what? So he's looking. He's like, well, what about this casita? There's a trip. It says casita. And I was like, no. That means you can just book a sunbed on the deck for the day. You're going nowhere if you book that trip. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen the cupcake decorating class, and I think it's more aimed at kids now.
Oh, totally.
I'm going to put myself out there and say my cupcake decorating skills are a bit more advanced than that, because I can do like the little animals and stuff like that, and flowers, and so I think that's a beginner thing. Now, when on the last cruise on Mariner, they don't have a sprinkle, so it was in the buffet,
right?
And it was all round a table. So I'd say smaller kids.
Yeah, definitely.
I quite fancy there's a sushi making.
Yes.
And I'd like to do the champagne tasting.
Always up for champagne tasting. Always.
And there was a tour as well that I was looking at that I'd really quite like to do. And it was...
Is that under shore excursions, or is it a ship tour?
Well, there was a brunch. It was a galley tour and brunch.
Oh,
and,
is it
champagne.
this? There's an all-access ship tour that's happening, and it's 136 a day to do it. Takes you behind the scenes of working zones. You see the bridge, the engine control room, the galley, and the environmental room as well.
Oh yeah, sip, tour, and brunch.
Ooh.
Spend your sea day with the executive chef on an exclusive tour of the galley, plus brunch in the main dining room, complete with unlimited sparkling wine. I think
Oh,
me and Donna might do
that
that.
sounds like a cup of me. I love things like that. Oh, I
Yeah,
see it there, the sip tour and brunch.
£44.
That's actually not a bad price.
Yeah, so there's things like that. So there's lots of extra activities, but then you've got to remember when we're talking about extras. So I'll go to Odyssey of the Seas and the Quantum class ships, but also on all the other ships with a flow rider. So first of all, the flow rider is free, but
Yes.
you can book private
Yes.
sessions, so you can do that. But then when you get onto the, I think it might be different going out of China and Asia, but on a lot of the Quantum class ships, obviously you've got the iFly and you've got the North Star. Now, the honest to God, the iFly, I went on the iFly and thought, I was a nervous wreck. I felt sick. And the
Really?
man was like, "Are you all right, mum?" I was like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And anyway, it turned out that I was like, I should have been a skydiver. I was really good at it.
Really?
It was like that to me. You had to hold Chris, Jack, and Joe. I was just like natural. Just did a yoga pose. I was all over it. But you can do them free because on a
Yes.
sea day you pay for them. But
Yes.
if you get on the ship and you've got to do it as soon as you get on the ship, you go and you book them,
Yep.
and then you get them free on a port day, and that's a really good tip. But if you don't do it straight away, so there was a man on day 3 really kicking off at him because he didn't book it
Didn't get a
straight away.
slot.
So
Yeah.
make sure when you get on the ship you book them because they really book up, and then you've got to pay for them.
That is a bit of a misconception in about Royal, because Royal, a lot of people see all this stuff and they kind of go, oh, but that's going to cost, that's going to cost, that's going to cost. Things like, the water parks included, the flow rider, as you say, is included. You just have to book your slots.
Yeah.
North Star shocked me. I thought that's a guaranteed extra charge, but as you say, yeah, it is on certain days. It's port days, isn't it? It's free. And then on those sea days when
Yeah.
you pay for it type of thing. And the Royal's argument is it reduces the lines, basically. If it was free all the time, the lines would just be open to abuse type of thing and nobody would get a slot. So they charge on days where they know the ship's going to be busy. You can believe how much of that as you like, but that's the Royal justification for why they charge on sea days, at least anyway.
But the experience is different because it's longer. So the iFly is longer,
Right.
and definitely when you go up the North Star, you're up there longer.
Yeah.
So it's a shortened version you're getting, and then I suppose it's a taster that if you want to do it, you can pay extra.
Yeah.
I think I'd have paid extra to do more flight of the skydiving because it was really good. I don't think I'd have got that good at it, but Flow Rider, I mean, is if you've got kids that are really into it, it's worth paying. And they want to do a lesson, that's a great option. But then, like you say, with the key, you get that anyway.
Yeah. And it's just nice though as well, like if you've got a group of you together as well. So Royal do such a great job with like that multi-generational or the kind of groups of families traveling together. It could be a nice thing for the families to pull together to have it privately for an hour. So you can kind of have that unlimited time for just you and your friends as well. So there's a reason why these things happen in the end days, because there's a demand for it. You want to have that private time, you can do it, and you get that, you pay for it to have a little bit extra with it.
Yeah, and then the other thing obviously is the casino, which I do like to get all dressed up for dinner and then go in the casino after dinner.
Yeah.
I get the ump if I lose, and I do lose all the time. I'm not a winner. So I'll just do like a tiny little bit. But Chris quite likes it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game of luck, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's I quite like it. I quite like the whole atmosphere around the casino.
I do as well. I kind of like,
quite fun.
I like to set myself like $100 limit, and I'm very much a slots fan. People kind of like say you're burning money in slots. I love a slot machine. So I kind of go with like $100-ish limit and see where I go with it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, but it's a nice way to pass, if you can make it last, it pass an hour with a cocktail. I think it's just quite a nice way to spend an evening one time.
That's it, and we do that. We both have a limit, and then once you've got over the limit. But
Yeah.
I was reading yesterday about casino cruises.
Whole
So there was a man
other
that was
world.
on in this thing. I know, and he was saying that he gambles £1,000 on a cruise, but he gets his next cruise free.
Yeah, it's the amount varies by cruise line, and you need to be in the schemes. And then I don't fully understand them. I now understand the Virgin Voyages one because there's now official rules. But I worked out the maths on it. You have to gamble through 25 grand in dollars with Virgin to get a comp cruise, basically. But once you're in one of the cruise lines' comp schemes, generally the other cruise lines will be willing to offer you comps as well to go on their cruises. And then depending on how much you put through their casino, once you're in the scheme, it is less because they know you are a gambler. The best way to do it, honestly, is if you want to learn more about it, there's blogs who specialize in, comp cruises or casino cruises. But just generally go and speak to the casino team and ask them about their loyalty programs. That's what they are, basically. They're casino loyalty programs. Some people just live vicariously through comp cruises. So they will go on, they know the threshold to get a comp cruise. They will gamble that through regardless. Now, some people could argue and say it's cheaper, and generally it is cheaper to pay for your cruise to get on board. But if you're somebody who enjoys gambling, you're doing something you enjoy anyway, and you're getting rewarded for it. That's the whole point of it. So it's worth looking into if that's something that appeals to you, but it is in the thousands of dollars you've got to put through.
I think I'd weep though. I mean, if I lose 20, I've got the other. But it makes sense now why there's some people that are always sat at the table
100%.
because they're playing that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've covered all the extras. But if anybody does like to do the casino cruise, please come on and tell us about it.
It'd be good actually, wouldn't it? More. Yeah, to get somebody who's actually a casino cruiser type of thing. The only two others I want to chat about briefly is just the photo package. Obviously, Royal do photography packages as well. So if that's something that appeals to you, you can do that as well. They do it by the looks of it, there's no unlimited that I've spotted. They do it by the number of photos. So I'm guessing you pay for 100 photos and you can download them, I'm guessing. Probably should check that. Like it's printed by the looks of it. So you get one photo package covers all guests, digital and print are sold per stateroom basis, photo selling stateroom. There's a lot of words on here, but they do photo packages. I've never bothered. But you can do, and you can also pre-book as well the private photo sessions. I know some families love that as well. So again, for kind of gala night or chic night, they will pay for the private photo session, and as you say, get the family photos together, and they're willing to pay. It's not cheap; it's £230, but you can have the private photo session as well. The other one as well is the arcade pass as well. So a lot of families ask me as well about kind of how do the arcades work. You can obviously top them up on board the ship and get the card so they can play the casino at their own free will. So you can budget that. It's not unlimited, or you can again pre-purchase as well. So they've got $25, $50 and $100 arcade credit as well. So you can have that pre-purchase. So again, you can say to your kids, look, you've got $100. Once it's gone. But again, you can give that to your kids so they can go in and out the arcade at their own will as well.
Yeah. It's funny enough, we was talking about the photo packages. When the kids were little, that's what we used to do, because it's actually cheaper as long as it's a white background, because I hate those bottom of the stairs. I can't stand them and looking like you're on the Titanic. I hate those. Like, I'd never put them on my wall with Royal Caribbean around the edge ever. And when you get off the ship and it's like Bermuda, and it's like, no, I don't like them. So I'm never going to have that package. But I do like when you've got the white background and there's nothing. It's just a blank photo. So when the boys were little, every year when we went on a cruise, we'd always book a family photo session because it's actually cheaper doing it on a ship than it is doing it on land.
Surprisingly, it is, isn't it? Because the photographers are there set up, ready to go. They've got all the backdrops. And as you say, there are different styles. If you're somebody who loves that memento and you love having the transatlantic branding and the picture of the ship.
Yeah, like that at the bottom of the stairs. No.
If you do love those, you
sorry
can.
If you like it, it's just not me. Yeah, it's sorry if you like them, but I just don't.
We literally say to every photographer, like, no, not interested. Don't even bother taking pictures of us because I do have zero interest in it. Like, I have a phone. We're very cheap, and that's one thing I refuse to pay for is photos. That said, I did buy, not the photo package, but I did buy a printed photo from our Disney cruise because it was just really cute. It's me and Phil, Chip and Dale. I use that photo all the time. But we got a digital copy, and I think we paid like $25 for one digital photo on Disney. It was not cheap. So that picture comes up.
I've got it at Disney, but then you're with the characters on Disney, aren't you? So I think there's the difference, not standing on the bottom of the staircase. Like, it got on my nerves on that blooming booze cruise. You couldn't go up the spiral staircase because people having their photos done. When you come down, the photographer's telling you off, and you think,
it's a stair. It's a staircase. When you're on Princess, you go into like the Grand Piazza or whatever it is, and literally they're everywhere. You cannot pass a corridor. There's photographers everywhere. But they've always got lines coming out type of thing. But I think they do an unlimited photo pass. That's probably why people are like, I paid for this unlimited photo pass. I want every single photo.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, but then people don't like selling to me, so I managed to pass them quite easily. But in fact, on this ship, there's a Tiffany shop.
Yes, nice.
So I'm going to make them sell me something because I'm not accepting that they're going to ignore me, because I just want a bracelet to go in between those two. And I know they've got a pearl version of that, so I thought,
You need to walk around with your C pass in the air type of thing. Just tap your C pass on your bracelets type of thing. I wonder what I could buy.
But we'll see if they sell to me,
You know what I
because you know
mean?
what people are like for ignoring me in shops. So
So, guys, I know it's again fragmented, but I just thought it'd be really good to kind of have a chat about kind of that pre-bookable extras. It can make or break your cruise, whether or not you buy too many and you regret it, or you don't get enough and you're on board, you got FOMO. Only you will know the answer to that. Obviously, if you book with me, I can have a chat to you about the pros and cons type of thing. Sarah, I know your blog as well. You've got tons of information about kind of all these things and how they are, or what they are at least anyway. So if people are trying to kind of
yeah.
gauge the value on any of this stuff, you've got loads of guys on your website. Where's the best place that people can find that?
Yeah, so it's cruising with kids or cruisingforall.com.
And then have you got
.co.uk,
any other...
it might be. It's cruising with kids or cruising for all, and we are the only cruising with kids.
I say, if you Google them, they'll come up to everything. But you've got, and we'll obviously link them in the description below as well. So if you guys are looking for kind of Sarah's guides to Royal, then we'll link them in the description below. So hunt that down as well.
I'll put them in.
But obviously, can you just give the guys a bit of an overview of the type of stuff they can find if they've not found your website yet?
Yeah, so we've got drinks package guides, dining guides. We've got a lot of guides to ships. So Donna and I, between us, have cruised on quite a few Royal Caribbean ships. So we've got photo tours, so you can see actually what's on the ship and what's going on. Yeah, there's loads of Royal Caribbean stuff. I'd say we're heavily Royal Caribbean focused.
I use your website when I'm struggling to find an answer. I'm always like, who's in the kids? Dining guide, just because I'm like, if I don't know the answer, I know you guys definitely have it.
And we've got an amazing tips to the Flow Rider post, which is, I do get upset about this post. But I actually went on the Flow Rider too. I mean, my kids have been going on it all my life, but I went on to research it to get the tips. So it's firsthand.
You
So,
need to take your GoPro on now
as well
next
if you're going
time.
to go on the Flow Rider.
That's the thing now. You need your GoPro of Flow Rider and then link that to YouTube. And then...
I'm gonna get Donna to go on it just for entertainment value. Because can you imagine?
Oh my god, yeah! Please do.
Just her laughing, and screaming. It would be comedy gold. In fact, I'm going to get her on the zip wire. She says she won't, but...
Well, speaking of which then, if the guys want to follow along, because you are going to be on Oasis next month now, I think we're a month away from it, or what's your social media? Just drop them in, obviously we'll put them below. But again, if the guys want to follow you on platforms, which is the best place to follow along your journeys on Oasis?
So probably TikTok, and we've got Instagram, so it's Cruising for All, and we're on, I'm just looking at TikTok, so it's Cruising for All, Sarah Christie and Donna Valance. And I mean, Donna's just been on a cruise, and actually it's been really good because she's just done updates every day, and just bits of looking at the ship, looking at silly little things and random things she's noticed. And I've loved following along because it's been really good.
She's got a really good eye for things.
Yeah.
Donna seems to look, they're really obvious things. You look at them kind of go, well, surely they're obvious, but she finds a really good way of kind of bringing new perspective to it type of thing. I love watching kind of when she's exploring a port and all the little things she finds. I'm like, how the bloody hell does she spot any of this stuff? Because I just walk around and go, yeah, coffee shop. But she seems to find it, and she gets the background, the story, the history of it. She's got a really good kind of narrative eye for a lot of her content. So I do enjoy following along to your stories when you guys are traveling.
We sat yesterday for an hour and did research on all the cruise ports, and we've got a list of things we want to see in each port. But I said to Chris, I don't really need to do that because I know she's going to do it all. But I did it with her, obviously. But she's brilliant at it. She's really good at finding stuff to do. And like, we're doing one castle. I can't remember where it is now, but she said, "Oh, there's a back staircase, so it's a real climb up this castle. If you go to the back stairs, there's a lift, so we're going to do that and TikTok that as well."
This is the thing.
Show people how to get in the back way.
You guys, I've been on the same trips as you, and I'm like, we've been on totally different holidays because you've seen a lot more than I've seen. I just wander around aimlessly, whereas you guys know your stuff, you know where you're going to. So definitely, you do give some great tips when you're traveling.
And Chris is really worried because I'm going to have that camera on my head the whole time now. Jack said that is what you're going to look at now for 2 weeks. Oh.
I can't wait. It's going to be really exciting. But yeah, if you guys are ever interested in booking a Royal Caribbean cruise, then I would definitely love to help you. You can find me online under magical-traveler.com, or all my social medias, which is primarily Virgin Voyager stuff at the moment, but we're looking to kind of diversify what we're offering as well, content-wise, as we sail other cruise lines soon as well. You can find me under magical TRVLR. So if you want to have a little follow, I would love that. Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do leave us a review and let them know that you've enjoyed this episode. Leave a comment as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, the video version, you get our lovely faces. And please do like and subscribe on YouTube as well, because again, it lets those platforms know you're enjoying this and lets other people find the joy and the chaos that is this podcast. Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.